Today we're going to be looking at why a lot of leaders crash, burn, fail, or fall from grace. No matter how successful you think you are as a leader, no matter what you think you've achieved, there is still a possibility that you fail. I want to look at the reason why a lot of leaders who have tasted success, why they fail, regardless of the experience, the exposure, regardless of investing in their skills and abilities and charisma, they still fail. Let's dive into this episode using all the pillars of the fulfill method and diagnose every single point of failure. This is an episode you can't afford to miss. Let's dive right in.
Fulfillment OB Podcast.
This week on the lead series, we looked at Arif Naqvi, one of the greatest celebrated leader in the investment space, even trusted by Bill Gates, but yet he still failed. He was charged for fraud. Why do great leaders fail? Why is it that people who have built sustainably, in the sense, done everything right, trusted by the public, still end up in places like this? Let's start with the first pillar of the fulfill method, focus. Focus, as powerful as it is, can become a double-edged sword. It can create a blind spot. And blind spots are the weak spots for most leaders. When you are a leader, you're focused on the goal, the vision, you're trying to get everything done. You believe you own the responsibility to make everything work. So you have to give your undivided attention, your full focus to the goal, the mission, or the vision. But that creates a blind spot because it becomes very difficult for you to see things as they truly are. Reality becomes distorted. Feedback no longer matters to you because you are so focused. You become emotionally attached to the mission that you don't see what other people are saying from the outside. And to make this worse, when a leader is so focused and moving with extreme speed, then blind spot becomes massive. Let's use this analogy. If you're driving your car at 20 kilometers per hour, you can still stop and wave people. You can still observe your surrounding. You can still look back and check what's going on. But when you are going at 220 kilometers per hour, you are going so fast that you can't afford to look at the side mirror. A little mistake means death. And that means you have a massive blind spot. You can't see what's going on around you. You don't know what's going to happen. You are just so focused on the goal because you are moving with extreme speed. So extreme focus and extreme speed are not a great combo. They will make you make mistakes, make you make bad decisions, and make it very difficult to see reality as it is. Every of your decision will be distorted, will be skewed, because you don't really understand what is going on. You can't see from the outside. That is why we have the next pillar, which is unity. We understand that great leaders face this problem, and that's why they are part of a team. The team is there to help you, to help build a vision with you, to assist you, to cover up your weakness, and to see things you can't see by yourself. But to most leaders, having a team around them is a means to exercise power. They see subordinates, people they can command, people they can order around. So they don't respect them or take feedback from their team or even try to work with them. Things like good communication with your team, building an environment and a culture on mutual respect. All those things are foreign to them. That's where failure begins. It's not just enough to practice unity, strong communication, team bonding. You have to take it to the next level. Leverage. Leveraging on the ability of your team to do the things you can't do by yourself, to do the research you can't do on your own, to cover up your weak side. Leveraging on their abilities, their experience, their expertise, and their skills. Leaders who understand this principle, they are not so involved in everything. They are not so drunk on controlling every outcome and everything. They build a system and they allow the team to take the initiative. That is how great teams are built. And it starts by understanding that these people working with you, they have the skills, the experience, and all you need to do is to leverage on their ability. It doesn't stop there. There's still another point of failure. Your inability to take feedback. Feedback, which is the next pillar. Most leaders have great team. They practice good communication, build effective team culture, and they understand the principle of leverage. But when it comes to feedback, there's a problem. Because whenever someone gives you an honest feedback about what you're doing so you can make changes or adjust, it looks like an attack on your identity or your person. It seems like they're telling you don't know what you're doing, and you become defensive instead of looking at it from a standpoint of data so you can make the necessary changes. I tell myself, even if the feedback doesn't make any sense, try to make sense of it. When there's genuine complaint, when people are telling you that things aren't going well, try to see from where they're coming from. But power dynamics can make it difficult for your team to give you honest feedback. They believe that if they tell you to your face, they'll lose their job. If they tell you what's going on, then you start looking at them as someone who complains and grumble and never want to get things done. So you must build a structure to help the team give you honest feedback without thinking twice about it. I'm not talking about an open door policy. I'm talking about making the environment conducive enough to support and carry the truth till it gets to you. Implementation is the next pillar. All the pillars we've discussed, they are very important. They're powerful. They help keep the team together and build effective and strong organization. But you see, implementation is the gap between things that get done and things that does not. If implementation within the organization is weak, things that are supposed to take 2 days can take weeks or months. Processes upon processes, complaints upon complaints, nothing ever gets done. That's because the implementation pillar is broken. Your team get the instruction, they don't understand it. They don't know how to apply it. They don't know exactly who owns what decision. So everything just takes time. Implementation breakdown starts slowly. Before it becomes visible, it has done a lot of damage. How do you fix implementation? By helping build the right structures within the organization to support implementation, fast decision making and decision ownership, regular training, and tagging responsibilities to the people who actually own them. So when your team fails to implement, you don't say, why are you lazy? Why is it difficult for you to do this? Ask, what are the things stopping you from doing this? Where is the friction point? Where is the implementation chain breaking down? Then you fix it from there. The next pillar is learning. Good leaders are great learners. No matter how good you are, how knowledgeable you are, you still have to learn. Learn from everything. That's the only thing that keeps you at that leadership position. You've gone through your organization, you know exactly where each pillar is breaking down. You gather data, you learn from different sources, you practice internal and external learning, as we've covered in previous episode. And with that information, you're able to make good, snappy decisions. The last pillar is leadership. Why leadership? When we're talking about leadership, I'm talking about personal leadership. Most leaders don't care about themselves, their energy, their health, their mental bandwidth. There's a saying that if you must lead a group of people, you must first learn how to lead yourself. Most leaders practice leadership, but they don't live a life of a leader. A leader understands that they are just humans and everything must be balanced. If you are burnt out, if you are so stressed, if you don't have the mental bandwidth to make good decisions, everything will crumble under you. So ask yourself, how am I managing my energy levels? What are my priorities? Am I delegating enough? How is my leadership affecting the people around me? Am I building sustainably or am building to win in the short term? So we've gone through the 7 pillars of the Fulfill method. And these pillars will help you and hold you for life. If every of these pillars are strong, are solid, you find it very easy to lead, make an impact, and build whatever it is you want. If you want to see where your leadership structures are failing across the 7 pillars, take the Fulfill Executive Scale Assessment. In less than 10 minutes, you'll know exactly what you need to do. It's completely free. The link will be in the description or the show notes. If you want to move further beyond that, if you want to be a part of a system where you have all the resources and the tools at your disposal to build solid leadership foundation, I want to invite you to the Fulfill Leaders ecosystem, where you have the opportunity to work with me one-on-one. Have audits, resources, frameworks, monthly live section, Q&A section, and every other benefit I can list here right now. So check out the link in the description or the show notes. If you want to get daily episodes like this to your inbox, please do well to subscribe on Substack, on YouTube, or any of the podcast player. But I'll advise you subscribe on Substack so you can get fast update and access to the lead series. The lead series is a series we do auditing organizations and great leaders who have either scaled or failed, looking at the patterns, extracting the lessons so you don't make that mistake for yourself. You get access to it when you are part of my subscriber list on Substack. So do also check the link in the description and the show notes. If this episode have pointed out something you never knew before or have helped you in any small way, do well to share it with a founder, a leader, or a visionary. It will do well to help us grow and help us reach our people. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll catch you next time for the next episode.